My name is Warnock and I have done a HNC Health and Social Care at Cardonal College. Originally, when I had left school, I was placed, I done admin for Glasgow City Council, and I was placed in social work department, welfare rights, and that sort of developed an interest for social work, and I've sort of carried on since then. I took some time out. I done my HNC, and then I took some time out, a couple of years out working within. I basically done that to see if it was going to be the sort of environment and if I had the qualities to sort of continue with this. So I took a couple of years out and I worked residential supported living, and then I decided, right, okay, it's time. University just seems, it's sort of like put on a pedestal, and it seems to be something that's unattainable, and it's the jump between college and university sort of seems, it's portrayed to be this, so big, and just I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make that jump, if I was capable of making that jump, and that was the thing that made me the most nervous. I think the thing that I found most difficult was the fact that I had been out of education for 3-4 years, and I just wasn't sure if I was still going to be able to do it. I think with getting older as well, you tend to lose your confidence, whereas when you're younger and you're leaving school and you think you can, you can do it, nothing's a problem to you, but then as you start getting older, you start doubting yourself whether you're capable of doing it or not. No, it wasn't. It's university. It's really friendly. It's sociable. Yes, the work, you have to put in the time. You have to do the research and you have to do the reading for it. There is quite a lot of work to do, but it's more relaxed, laid back, friendly. Even the lecturers, like in the classes, and even walking down the corridors, and they'll talk away to you, and then everyone in your class is probably going to have the same apprehensions as what you've got, and you sort of put each other at ease, you talk to each other, and it's more comfortable. It's not as scary as it's made out to be. Very much so. I mean, you hear about university being all about independent study, and you have to be responsible for your own work, and but it's not. Well, yes, you have to be responsible, but as part of that, you've got the tutors, who, if you've got any questions, you can speak to them, either during the class, or if you're not comfortable with that, afterwards. You can have meetings with them. You have your sort of a like guidance tutor type thing as well, that if you're having any problems, you can go to them. You have your own class. You have PASS, which is students that have already been there, and they sort of try and help you out when it comes to assignments and how to do academic writing and reading. If you've got any questions, you can ask them. There's loads and loads of people that you can go to, and the support's there, and all you need to do is ask for it. I think the image that you've got of universities, it's an established sort of not an organisation, sort of an institution, and it's like, especially in Scotland, it's like old buildings, sort of a quite formal setting. Well, Caledonian University is not like that. It's newish building, and everything within it is pretty top of the range, state of the art computer labs, and just the same as the library as well, and everything is quite informal. I think they've sort of made it so that you feel comfortable. To be honest, the majority of the class within, well, social work in particular, our class, probably about 75% of them are college leavers rather than coming straight from school. I think the main difference between college and university is in college you tend to sort of get told what you're supposed to be putting into essays, and you'll be given this information, maybe 2 to 3 books to go and have a look at, and then you'll be given your module handbooks, and you would sort of, that would have all the information on it, and you would be told throughout what needs to be in your assignments. Whereas with the university, you're responsible for what goes in your assignments. You will talk about things in lectures and debates, and the things that are spoken about more often, then yes, they have to be in the assignment, but there's things there that you'll maybe talk about and it's maybe touched on, but you have to go and research it, and you're responsible for researching it more and expanding on it, and then putting it into your essay. You're just, the difference is you're responsible for what's in your essay and what's not, because you go over that much stuff, then not everything can be in it, and you won't get told what to put in it, so that's the difference. The workload, at the beginning of first year, we started in September, and from September to December we had one assignment, and it was sort of a split into 3. So at the start you sort of get eased into it. However, come the end of the year, come March, April, May, it's quite intense. So you have to be responsible for making up your own study timetables and sticking to it, because you can sort of not so much, you're at not a false pretense at the start, but just because the works, it's not as full on at the beginning, at the first start of the year, but then they call it a long thin module, and come the end of the year, all 7 of your modules all have deadlines around about the same time. So they start getting on top of you, so the best thing to do is sort of devise yourself a timetable and try and stick to it. The biggest difference between college and university is college, you seem to have lectures, and it's the same couple of teachers, and that's really all. It's like a lecture and PowerPoints, and sort of getting talked at, and you're just sitting there and you listen and you take notes. And whereas in university you have your lectures, but you also have, based on that lecture, you have a seminar that accompanies that lecture, and you get to, in a smaller group size, discuss what you have just learnt from the lecture. The social work degree has 7 modules in first year, so you have things like psychology, sociology, social policy, understanding social work, skills tech, and foundations for practice, so you cover quite a wide range of things. It's a full-time course, so really the timetable will change year to year, just depending, obviously, the lecturers, and it depends on what classes they've got, so it will change. But at the moment, first year we were here 4 days a week, and when we went, and then we also had a placement which was between 6 to 10 weeks, and when we had that, we were here 5 days, so it is full time. Well, no, you can't. You're not always in classes. I mean, sometimes the classes can be split, so you have quite. Well, it can range from an hour to 2 to 3 hour break in between. But what you can do then is use that as independent study time, because a lot of the people that are here, I mean, there's no point in going home to come back in because you come back in for another lecture. So they sort of just use that as time to go and get themselves organised, whether it be with coursework, going to the library, and just doing general self-studying. My favourite subject was social policy. I've always been interested in it ever since school. I started off doing modern studies, and then just generally I watch all the question times and Prime Minister's question times, First Minister's question times, so I found that quite interesting. Obviously it's quite central. So I mean, no matter where you come from, it's easily accessible for you. But just the fact that it's a new building, it's state of the art. You've got Wi-Fi hotspots. It's comfortable. It's just a pleasant place to be in. It is big. It's probably it's bigger than school, college, any college that you've been to. So the first couple of weeks, yes, it'll take some getting used to, but after about a year, it's pretty easy because your classes, they're the same classes, it's the same rooms that you go to, so you find your way about. The workload, you have a lot with it. Juggling it between going to your lectures, and then you have coursework to bring in every week or for certain modules, and then you've obviously got your research, and then you've got the assignments. So yes, the workload's, it's quite big. You've got quite a lot, and it's all about managing your time. It's difficult to juggle it with your other commitments with university. You have work, you have family, you have your home, and then you have to come here as well. So it is difficult, but I think you expect it to be difficult anyway. It's just trying to strike that balance, and you do get it. You will have a few moments where you're going to be so stressed and everything's not working out, but it's worth it, and you just have to manage your time. The main difference between learning at college and university is in university you're more responsible for your own learning and your own development. You do have the lectures, and you will get taught the information that you need to know. However, you have to go and expand on that on your own. You have to look into it more depth, and you need to be responsible for what you learn and how in depth that learning is. Whereas at college, it tends to be that you get told what's got to be in your assignments. It's like, right, well, this is what we're learning, make sure that's in there, and here's these books, read these books and make sure that's in there, and that you sort of get left at that. University, you don't. You sort of just get, you get taught the things, you get taught the subject, and you will notice that you talk about certain things over and over and over. So that's a sort of a key to say, right, that definitely needs to be in there. But there's other things that you'll probably just touch on briefly here and there, and what you have to do in university is sort of pick out the things that you want to be in your essay, and really it's dependent on where you're going with it. So you're responsible for your own learning and your own development. a lot more so than what you are at college. In college you tend to, you have the lecture and you have the lecturer standing there with the PowerPoint and just sort of talking at you. Well, that was my experience anyway. It was sort of it was one way sort of a type learning. There wasn't a lot of interaction. University's different. You do get the lectures and yes, you do have to take the notes and you have to listen and whatnot, but you also get what we call as a seminar to accompany that. So if there's any confusion after the lecture, if you're not understanding something or the lecturer said something that maybe conflicts with each other and you go to these seminars and it'll go over it in more depth and you can have debates and discussions and it sort of brings learning to life. You can sort of, it makes it's better for learning. It sort of helps you learn because you are debating it and it's sort of like something, it sticks with you and you're getting different points of view. You're not just coming to a conclusion based on what the lecturer's telling you. You're coming to a conclusion based on what everyone's went away and researched and found out prior to this, as well as the lecture, and you're coming to a debate and your own sort of understanding. I think it's a bit, university, learning at university is a bit faster than college, and I think the reason it's a bit faster is because you have so many modules. You don't have 7 modules in college, you've got 7 modules in university, so it is a bit faster and you're going from class to class and it does take a bit of getting used to, but you do. I mean, I think if you're organised, say if you have your folders and you're keeping everything in place and you're going home and maybe reading over what you've done that day, then then you're looking over it right away, then it's something you can get used to. You do get used to it, but yes, it is a bit faster. To prepare for university, there isn't much that you can do in preparation for it apart from just be organised. And to be honest, it has to be university. You have to want it. It has to be something that you're committed to doing and setting yourself a goal. And it's easier if it is something that you want. If you want to be there and if you want to do it, then it isn't so much of a task to go away and do the research and do the work that you have to do when you come home, and it isn't so much of a task to say no to your friends when they're asking you to go out, or sort of the distractions that you can have when you come to university. So really you just have to be focused and committed and really want to be here, and that's the best preparation. The main differences between college and university in terms of writing is probably in college you tend to go with like sort of a one person's theory or point of view, and you don't really go into that in depth, but it just seems to be one person's opinion, whereas in university you have to take all different opinions and points of views. You have to go into it in more depth. You have to be more critical and take other people's opinions. It's not, as you say, come straight in and you have to know that that's the way that you're supposed to write. It's not. The support's there, and you do. They sort of help you to develop. Academic writing is not as difficult as it sounds. You hear academic writing, you hear critical analysis and writing, and you hear these words, and to be honest, you do it anyway. That's the way you write. You do it anyway, and it isn't as scary as it sounds. I wish I would have known that university isn't as scary as it's portrayed to be. It's, you think you have these images of very intellectual, academic, sort of a professor types, and it's nothing like that at all. It's nothing like that, and I just wish I would have known that. I just think, I think anything's possible if you're committed and if you want it, if you're committed, if you put the time in and the effort and you're committed to the course, then it's going to make the whole experience that much easier. And I think that's the advice. And if you're not feeling confident, and it will come. I think that was the way I was at the beginning, and I wasn't confident. I think that's what put me off for so long. But it's not about that. I think if you put your mind to anything, you can achieve anything that you want to do. And it's all about being committed. So I think if you're not confident, then just remember that you can achieve whatever you want if you put the hard work in.